Dark Shadows, number 97, VTR 102766, air 11866, take one.
My name is Victoria Winters. Last night, I learned that a man I considered my friend might be implicated in an unexplained death. I've shared this secret with only one other man. Now I dread having to face the rest of the family at Collinwood, not knowing what to expect. Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning, Vicky. I trust you slept well after our arduous night.
Yes, thank you. I did.
Did you have fun in Bangor?
Not really.
I know why you went there, Vicky. I think you might have told me.
Carolyn, did you...
I'd like to speak to you about it alone, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind at all.
Oh, Liz, you're not going to browbeat the poor girl this early in the morning.
Suppose you let me handle this in my own way.
As you wish. Shall we get some fresh coffee, kitten?
Delighted.
Vicky, you know I'm fond of you, don't you?
Yes, I do. And it makes me very happy. I also know I've done something to displease you. But there wasn't anything else I could have done.
Was it necessary to drive to Bangor with Burke?
Didn't Carolyn tell you about it? When she and I were in the coffee shop waiting for my bus, Burke came in and said he was going to Bangor on business. It would have been silly to take the bus.
Well, she didn't put it in exactly those words.
Well, you can see that I couldn't very well have refused his offer.
I understand. But the next day you called my attorneys Garner and Garner and asked for an appointment to see them.
Mrs. Stoddard, I went to Bangor to see your lawyers. When I was locked up in that room, I found an old ledger sheet. It had Garner and Garner on the top of it. Among the names was one, B. Hanscom.
I don't see the connection.
A short time ago at Sam Evans' house, I came across a portrait of a girl called Betty Hanscom. She looked very much like me.
Well, I remember her quite well. She didn't look anything at all like you.
Well, I had thought it might have been some link with my past.
Then why didn't you ask me?
Because when I do ask you, you always avoid answering my questions on that subject.
I simply don't have the answers. A while ago, I made it quite clear to you that to the best of my knowledge, there is no link between your past and Collinsport.
All right, Mrs. Stoddard. Thank you.
Vicky, did anything happen between you and Burke in Bangor? I trust you, Vicky. I won't ask you what happened in Bangor and what Burke did to frighten you so that you found it necessary to call my brother to come and get you.
Carolyn, I think you have it all wrong about Vicky. If she had such a special interest in Devlin, why would she call me and ask me to come and get her?
That's exactly what I'd like to know. Didn't she tell you?
No. All I could get out of her was that possibly Burke was a little too drunk and she didn't want to drive home with him in that condition.
Burke does get quite drunk at times.
Well, there you are. That could be the solution.
If that had been the case, Vicky could have driven that car by herself.
Oh, not last night. In that storm, we were lucky to get home with me driving.
Uncle Roger, you said that Burke had already left.
Apparently, I didn't see him.
Then why didn't Vicky just stay at the hotel instead of making you come all that distance in a storm?
Well, I may be an old fogey to you because I'm your uncle, but I'm not Vicky's uncle.
You mean you and Vicky? Oh, no. Then she'd be my aunt.
Well, is the boss available?
I think so.
Well, you must have had quite a time in Bangor.
It was all right.
Vicky, do you really like my Uncle Roger?
Yes, I think he's very nice.
I think so, too. He's very fond of you.
Oh?
Well, he must be, don't you think, to make that trip to rescue you from the clutches of Burke Devlin?
Carolyn, I was not in Burke's clutches.
Then why did you refuse his offer to drive you back? What happened between you?
Nothing at all. And for your information, I spent most of my time with a very attractive young man called Frank Garner.
Frank Garner? He's nothing but a kid.
How long has it been since you've seen him?
I don't know. Years, I guess.
Well, he happens to be at least 10 years older than you.
That's right. He must be.
And he's very good looking.
Vicky, you have all the luck.
And there's one more thing. Carolyn Stoddard, my best friend. Burke told me on the drive up that it wasn't an accident he came into the coffee shop. You called him and told him to come downstairs. So he came down to see you, and not me.
Liz, I honestly can't give you any explanation for her sudden switch in plans. The phone call was quite brief. She seemed scared to death.
Didn't you discuss it on the way back?
Oh, she was too upset to be coherent. I didn't want to press her. You just spent a long time with her yourself just now. Did she say anything to you?
Nothing that I didn't already know.
Well, that still doesn't answer the question of why she was so anxious to go to Bangor with Burke Devlin.
I don't think she was particularly anxious to go with him. I think that was coincidence. But what does interest me is why she called you so suddenly to bring her back.
No, what I just suggested to Carolyn was that she may have thought Burke was too drunk and didn't want to drive back with him in that condition. After all, you remembered 10 years ago what happened when he was driving a car.
But why didn't she tell me that?
Well, she impresses me as a girl who doesn't like to tell tales out of school.
But anything about Burke affects us. She knows that. This is her home.
Well, I'm afraid we haven't made her feel very much that way. And I admit I'm partially to blame.
Then you've changed your mind?
No. I don't think it's safe for her here. Heaven only knows what David will think up next.
But David's attitude has completely changed now.
Yeah, so he says. But how do we know how much of what he says is truth?
I suppose we'll just have to keep a closer watch over him.
And I'll keep a closer watch over Vicky.
Where are you going?
Out?
Well, can I drive you somewhere, or do you want to take my car?
No, thanks. I think I'll walk.
You want company?
No, thanks.
Vicky, was Burke drunk in Bangor? Is that why you wouldn't let him drive you home?
No, that wasn't it at all. I wish you'd get him off your mind.
Why should I?
Well, your mother and your uncle have asked you to.
And you think I should, too? Why, Vicky? Is there more to that Bangor trip than you told me?
I think Burke is a dangerous man to have for a friend. He's unpredictable.
If he's so unpredictable, then why did you take that trip and spend the night in the same hotel with him?
Here, because it's the best hotel in town. That's why. What's so unusual about that?
How do I know what happened?
Well, what difference does it make?
That's what I'd like to know. Why is it so important to you?
I think that as long as you live here at Collinwood, everything you do reflects on us.
And does nothing you do reflect on anyone?
Where are you going, Vicky?
Just going out for a walk. I thought after the rain it would be very nice.
Any place special?
Now don't you start on me, Roger. I am not going to the Collinsport Inn if that's what you're worried about.
Well, that's not the only place I would hate to see you go.
And I'm not going to the sheriff's office either. I'm just going for a walk.
Many brave hearts are asleep in the deep, so beware, be aware.
Oh, Vicky! Come in, come in.
Hello, Mr. Evans. I hope I'm not disturbing you.
Me? What? Of course you're not. Well, Maggie's not here, but please come in.
Thank you very much. I didn't come to see Maggie. I came to see you.
Well, an honor. Let me take your coat.
Thank you. I promise I won't stay too long.
Oh. First you raise my hopes, then you dash them to the ground.
Actually, I didn't come to see you either.
Well, this grows curiouser and curiouser. You didn't come to see Maggie. You didn't come to see me. Now, let's figure this out. Ah, I know. You came to see the cat. Puss, 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 puss. No. Cat's not home either.
I came to see one of your paintings.
Don't tell me you're a potential customer. If I suspected that, I would have rolled out the red carpet and hired a brass band.
That won't be necessary, I'm afraid. I'm not a customer. I just wanted to look at one of your paintings.
Well, you still do me honor. Anyone who has seen one of my efforts and wants to see it again is more than welcome.
I wanted to see the portrait of Betty Hanscom.
Oh, Vicky, I've done better than that.
Oh, it isn't the likeness or the quality of the painting. It's the likeness that I want to know if I really saw it or if it was just my imagination.
My dear Miss Winters, I am not of that school of painters where you have to have a wild imagination to understand the work. I paint what I see.
I know, and I like it.
Thank you.
I went to Bangor to see if I could find out some more about Betty Hanscom or B. Hanscom.
B. Hanscom. Well, it could have been Betty.
I don't think so. B. Hanscom was the Collins butler.
My dear child, I can assure you that Betty was never a butler anywhere.
I know. I figured B. Hanscom must have been an uncle or a father or some sort of relative. I wanted to track him down, to find out what had happened to Betty.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid I can't help you there at all. See, until you just told me, I didn't know that there was any relative named Hanscom at Collinwood.
Well, haven't you been living here for a long time?
Oh, yeah, but that doesn't matter. You see, when Maggie's mother was alive, we stayed pretty much to ourselves. And then after she died, well, I was even more of a loner. I didn't mingle very much with the natives.
The natives?
Yes, that's anyone whose family has lived here for at least 200 or a couple of hundred years.
Like the Collins family.
Yeah. You see, they were among the first group to settle in the area. And it's the descendants of those people that are the real natives.
And where are you from?
Connecticut. That's pretty far south from here, but of course, to a real Southerner, I'm a Yankee.
Well, to me, you're just a man I'm very glad I know.
Well, that's very kind of you. You know, sorry I haven't been able to make you feel more at home in Collinsport, but I've had so much on my mind.
Nonsense. This is the only home I've been in outside of Collinwood.
You're welcome any time.
I may take unfair advantage of that offer.
Any advantage you would take of it would not be unfair. That's the way it was meant.
Well, in that case, could I see the picture of Betty Hanscom?
The picture? Oh, yes, of course. Let's see. What did I do with it?
Well, the last time I was here, it was in that stack there.
Yes. Let's see. Ah! Here it is.
Do you see a resemblance?
Well, superficially, yes. When I was painting Betty, I was trying to paint her soul, what was inside it.
Do you think you succeeded?
Oh, who knows what's in a woman's soul?
I love it.
It's yours.
What?
Well, even savages make presents to their guests. The least you can do is allow me the honor of making you a present of this painting.
Oh, but I could not really.
You'll hurt my feelings.
I don't know what to say.
Just say thank you.
I do thank you, Mr. Evans. And I'll treasure this always. I really will.
Well, I'll wrap it up. Not so much as to preserve the painting, but to protect your treasure.
Roger, I want to talk to you.
What is it?
Dick Garner called me from Bangor and said Vicky was there asking questions.
Oh, what questions?
She wanted to find something out about Betty Hanscom.
Betty Hanscom, who's that?
Well, surely you must remember Hanscom. He was our butler for years. Betty was either his daughter or his niece.
No, I don't remember. We haven't had servants in this house for 18 years, except Matthew, of course, and before that I was away at school.
Well, Vicky saw a portrait of this Bee Hanscom, painted by Sam Evans, and she thought it looked like her.
Well, did it?
I've never seen the picture.
Would you like me to call Evans and ask him for it?
No. There must be absolutely no importance attached to the picture.
Why not?
Because I prefer it.
Well, now you succeeded in arousing my curiosity.
I don't mind arousing your curiosity. I don't want anyone else's aroused.
And you still won't tell me anything about it?
No, I won't.
Well, I realize you've always tried to protect David and Carolyn, and now I presume you're trying to protect Vicky.
Yes, I am.
Why?
I've told you. She's my responsibility. And Roger, even you must admit I've never shirked a responsibility.
Well, that's true, but...
Later.
Am I disturbing you?
No, dear, come in.
Well, what have you got there?
A surprise. Sam Evans gave it to me. It's a portrait of Betty Hanscom. Do you see a resemblance?
No, I don't really. Do you, Roger?
No, not the faintest.
Well, I do, and so did Maggie, and so did Mr. Evans.
I think they were being kind to you and seeing what you wanted them to see.
Do you really think that?
Oh, you're back.
Yes.
Vicky, where'd you have the portrait done? It looks exactly like you.
Stay tuned for Where the Action Is next on ABC. Dark Shadows is a Dan Curtis production.